After 7 years of being a stay-at-home mom, my husband resents me for embarrassing him, and my son tells people I'm just a babysitter.
Good.
I don't do laundry anymore, I don't cook anymore, and I dress up every day to go shopping. However, the father and son are in a hurry. I was picking up Carter from Windsor Elementary when I ran into Lily Whitman's mom. Just as I was about to greet her, Carter jumped out in front of me, blocking my way. "This is our nanny. You don't need to talk to her." Then he turned to me and shouted, "You're embarrassing.
Don't come to school looking like that."
I looked down at my faded clothes. Between taking care of the house and family, I hadn't had time to dress up. My ungrateful little brat had the nerve to be ashamed of me, but I wasn't going to take it lying down. I slapped some sense into him, hard. Carter's face turned beet red when we got home from school. I sat on the couch with a cold expression. I didn't cook dinner, didn't clean, didn't wash a single piece of clothing. Carter, as usual, didn't think he'd done anything wrong. He expected everything to continue like normal. "Mom, I'm hungry. Hurry up and make dinner," he demanded. I shot him a look and said, "Don't call me Mom. I'm not your mom." I looked around at the dirty laundry and messy living room and sank deep into thought. It's been 7 years since I became a full-time mom. I gave up my job for Carter. Every little thing, meals, laundry, school, health, was all on me. But today the way he acted made me realize all my efforts were for nothing. Why had I sacrificed so much? When I refused to make him dinner, Carter lost it completely. He threw himself on the floor and started screaming. I wasn't wrong.
You don't even have a job.
What's the difference between you and a nanny? I'm telling Dad. To my shock, Nathan frowned when he heard the story, and his eyes were full of disappointment when he looked at me. "Why are you making a big deal over what a kid says? You promised him fried chicken today." No wonder Carter's upset. "Nathan, are you serious?" I couldn't believe it. "Your son has serious issues, and when I try to teach him a lesson, somehow it's my fault?" Nathan's face showed nothing but annoyance. "Carter's just a kid. What does he know? But you've let him go hungry this long. That's on you." Carter lipped, smug, glancing at me while he whined to Nathan about wanting fried chicken. Before the two of them could head out, I yelled, "If either of you walks out that door today, I'm done with this house." The only response I got was the slam of the door and the sound of their laughter fading down the street. I collapsed on the couch, tears running down my face. 7 years of my life. All for nothing. Every day I'd wake up early, cook, clean, take care of Carter, and do all the household chores. My workload wasn't any less than Nathan's, but now neither Nathan nor Carter appreciated me. Well, if they think I'm so embarrassing, I'm done. I'll spend my time and money on self-care and clothes.
Let's see who misses me then.
After making up my mind, I tossed Nathan's stuff into the guest room. There was no way I was sleeping next to that man for another minute. I called up Bianca, and we made dinner plans. Nathan tipped Carter out for fried chicken, so I wasn't going to hold back either. After dinner, Bianca and I hit Rivercrest Shopping Mall. I had years of missed self-care to make up for the newest skincare set. Bought trendy clothes and bags? Yes, please. Gym membership, spa package. Got them both. Bianca watched me spend money like water, her eyes wide in disbelief. "Vivian, aren't you worried Nathan's going to lose it?" I admired my purchases with satisfaction. Who cares? I'm spending my own savings. He has no say in it. I posted a picture of my shopping haul on Instagram to celebrate this new chapter of my life. But then I saw that Nathan had already posted something. First, he tagged me, too, with a snarky caption. "Took Carter out for fried chicken. He says I'm his favorite." In the picture, they were smiling, faces pressed together in front of a table full of junk food. I rolled my eyes. Every time I tried to discipline Carter, Nathan would play the good guy. So despite me spending every day taking care of Carter, it was Nathan who Carter adored. I gave the post a sarcastic like and went to grab drinks with Bianca. We spent the evening mingling with some charming guys who kept calling us ladies in that flirtatious tone that made me feel young again. Dancing in the club released all the stress I'd built up. During the day, Carter might still be young and need guidance, but as his mom, I couldn't just abandon him. I'd have to rethink how I raised him. When I got home at 11 p.m., I was ready to make some changes in our dynamic. But instead of being in bed, the house was still brightly lit. Carter was up playing with his toys in the living room, way past his bedtime. I always made sure he was asleep by 8 p.m. for school the next day. But here was 11 o'clock, and he was acting like it was the middle of the day. Furious, I roared. "Carter Somerson, do you have any idea what time it is? You've got school tomorrow." Normally, Carter would have jumped into bed the moment I raised my voice, but tonight, he actually had the nerve to shout back. I stood there stunned. I can't believe that's something he would say. "You're the one who doesn't keep your promises. Why do I have to listen to you? You just sit around at home all day living off Dad's money. You're pathetic." This was the same child I'd devoted 7 years of my life to, and now he was lashing out at me like this. The first time Head said something hurtful, I thought it was just his age, but now he was doing it on purpose. He meant every word. Tears stunned my eyes. I couldn't believe I had given up my career, everything for this ungrateful child. I stormed over and yanked him off the floor. "Say that again."
Who taught you to speak to me like that?
"Who?" My voice was shaking with despair. Carter glared at me with nothing but hate in his eyes. I shivered. He started sobbing, but his words stayed harsh. "You don't do anything. My friends' moms aren't like you." I had reached my breaking point. After everything I heard from Carter, with those cruel and disrespectful words, I realized I didn't have the strength to continue living that life. It wasn't just him. Nathan had become complicit in this behavior, laughing behind my back, letting Carter disrespect me as if it were a game. I had devoted 7 years to that family, and all I got in return was contempt. That night, while Carter was finally asleep, I went to Nathan. He was sitting on the couch, watching TV, completely oblivious to everything happening around him. I sat beside him, my heart pounding. It was time to end this once and for all. "Nathan, I want a divorce."
He didn't even look at me.
His eyes stayed glued to the screen, as if I had just told him dinner was ready. I sighed heavily, already expecting that reaction. But what he did next surprised me.
He laughed.
A cold, mocking laugh, as if I were the most ridiculous joke he'd ever heard. "You? Divorce me?" He finally turned his head, his eyes filled with arrogance. "Good luck with that. How do you think you're going to survive without me? You have no money, no job. You depend on me for everything." I stood frozen for a moment, absorbing the cruelty of his words. But instead of breaking me, they fueled me. Did he really think I was useless? That I couldn't rebuild my life? I took a deep breath and stood up, never breaking eye contact with him. "I'll survive, Nathan. And I'll live much better without you." He just shrugged, thinking I was bluffing. But I wasn't. That night, I made up my mind that I was going to change my life. The following weeks were tough. Nathan completely ignored me, as if he was waiting for me to give up on the divorce and return to our miserable routine. Carter continued treating me poorly, but I knew that came from his father's influence. Our relationship was strained, but something inside me had shifted. I decided I would no longer be the person who lived solely for others. I spent the first few days crying alone, trying to figure out what to do. No career, no support, and very little money. It seemed impossible. But then, one afternoon, while I was baking a cake just to relax, something I always enjoyed doing to relieve stress, an idea came to me. Why not sell these cakes? I started small, selling to neighbors and Bianca's friends. They always said I made the best cakes they'd ever tasted, but I had never taken it seriously. This time, I decided to take a chance. With what little I had left in savings, I bought ingredients and invested in simple, but nice, packaging. I created a page on social media, took pictures of the cakes, and within a few days, I already had several orders. Nathan, of course, didn't take it seriously at first. He laughed whenever he saw me walking out of the kitchen with boxes of cakes, thinking it was just a passing phase, something that wouldn't amount to anything. But the weeks went by, and the orders kept coming. Soon, I had more requests than I could handle on my own. There was a moment, a few weeks later, when Nathan walked into the kitchen and saw the scene. Cakes lined up, boxes ready for delivery, and my phone buzzing nonstop with new orders. "What is this?" he asked, unable to hide the disbelief in his voice. My job, I replied firmly. I told you I would survive, Nathan. He stood there in silence, clearly surprised. I could see the realization slowly dawn on him. He had completely underestimated me. Not long after, I was able to finally file for divorce. I no longer needed his money, his approval, or, most importantly, his life. I was building something for myself, something that made me happy. That idea, born out of a need to rediscover myself, became my greatest victory. In a few months, I expanded my cakes to local cafes, and even Carter began treating me differently, seeing that his mother wasn't the weak and dependent figure he thought. He was still young, and our relationship was still strained, but now I knew I could take care of myself, and, if necessary, of him, without needing anyone. I had finally set myself free. I walked out of that house with just a suitcase in my hand and a purpose in my heart, never to depend on anyone again. Nathan didn't believe in me. He thought I couldn't survive without his help. But the moment I closed the door behind me, I knew I was leaving behind not just a failed relationship, but an old version of myself that no longer existed. Over time, my small cake business grew. The success I found selling to neighbors expanded to cafes and local restaurants. I worked tirelessly day and night, experimenting with new recipes, developing my brand, and learning everything I needed to know about running a business. I couldn't afford to rely on anyone. I was doing this for myself and for Carter, who, despite being influenced by his father, was still my son and needed a better figure to guide him. Within a year, I opened my first bakery. It was called Sweet Victories, a personal reminder that every challenge I overcame was a sweet triumph. Customers came from all over, drawn by the flavor and quality of the cakes, and the shop quickly became a local favorite. With the money coming in from sales, I opened a second shop in another city, and before I knew it, I was franchising across the country. In 5 years, Sweet Victories had become a national chain. Each store represented a piece of my journey, a living testament to the fact that with determination and hard work, I could overcome any obstacle. The name, which had started as a personal symbol, now represented so much more. It was a victory over Nathan's contempt, over the years of being undervalued, and most of all, over my own doubts. At the peak of my success, something unexpected happened. I received a court summons. Nathan, broke and bitter, had filed a lawsuit against me. He was demanding half of the Sweet Victories brand, claiming that since we divorced during the business's growth, he was entitled to a portion. His audacity left me speechless. He hadn't contributed a single penny or effort to my success. On the contrary, he had tried to undermine and humiliate me, and now he wanted to profit from it? On the day of the trial, I was ready. The courtroom was packed, and the tension in the air was palpable. Nathan sat across from me, with his lawyer, trying to look confident, but his appearance showed clear signs of financial ruin. When it was my turn to speak, I stood up, looked at the judge, and began what would be the most important speech of my life. Your Honor, everything I have achieved was with my own 2 hands. When Nathan and I separated, he told me I wouldn't survive without him, that I didn't have resources, that I depended on him. But the truth is, the success of Sweet Victories came from every cake I baked, from every sleepless night, from every tear I shed. Nathan didn't believe in me, he didn't support me, and he never took part in building this business. Today, he is not here because he believes he deserves half, but because he wants to profit from something he dismissed. He has no right to a single penny, not because of my pride, but because this is the fruit of my labor, my sweat. And I will never give that up. The courtroom fell silent. I could see the judge, thoughtfully considering my words. Then, he delivered his verdict. I won the case. Not only did Nathan lose the lawsuit, but he was also ordered to pay a fine for trying to claim something that wasn't his. However, when I heard the amount of the fine, something inside me decided I didn't want that money. I didn't need it. I wanted nothing from Nathan, not even to compensate for what he had tried to take from me. Your Honor, I decline the fine.
I don't want a cent from this man.
Everything I've built was through my own effort, and that's how I want to continue. Nathan stood there, defeated, while I walked out with my head held high. He had lost everything, while I had gained everything. But the money wasn't the most important thing to me at that moment. After the trial, I requested full custody of Carter. I knew that Nathan had been a terrible influence on him, and my priority now was to undo the damage. The judge, recognizing my dedication and the situation, granted me custody. I knew it would be a challenging task, but I was ready. I raised Carter with discipline, teaching him the value of hard work, honesty, and respect. It wasn't easy. He had been shaped by years of permissive behavior, but over time, he began to change. Slowly, he saw the kind of person his father truly was, and eventually, he realized how much I had fought for the both of us. Today, Carter is a responsible young man, and Sweet Victories continues to grow, with franchises all across the country. Looking back, I see that all the pain, the tears, and the sleepless nights brought me to a place of peace, success, and pride. Nathan? He's long gone, bankrupt, and with nothing left. But me? I have everything that truly matters. Even after all the hurtful things Carter said to me, I knew deep down that I could never abandon him. A mother never abandons her child, no matter what. He was young, influenced by Nathan's toxic behavior, but I knew that, in time, I could show him what true love, respect, and hard work really meant. And that's exactly what I did. Even when he yelled at me or compared me to other mothers, I persisted, raising him with both firmness and the affection he desperately needed. Over the years, our relationship changed. Carter grew up, matured, and began to see things differently. He realized what kind of man his father was and, slowly, started to appreciate everything I had done for him. He understood that the tough choices I made were for his benefit and for our family. Today, we have a solid relationship built on mutual respect. During this transition, something wonderful happened in my life. I met a man who truly respected me, who saw me as his equal, and who stood by my side in every decision. We got married, and for the first time in a long time, I felt peace in my heart. He supported my business, encouraged my dreams, and together, we expanded the Sweet Victories empire even further. The business grew in extraordinary ways. With each new store that opened, I felt a wave of satisfaction, knowing that every cake sold represented my journey of overcoming obstacles. And then, something I never thought possible happened. I made my first million. It was an indescribable achievement, not just for the financial success, but for what it symbolized. Every penny of that million was earned through my hard work, dedication, and the courage to start over. With the success of my business came invitations to speak about overcoming challenges. Today, I travel the country sharing my story, inspiring women and men who are going through difficult times, showing them that with determination and resilience, it's possible to turn your life around. Every speech I give reminds me of everything I've been through, but now, when I tell my story, there's no pain, only pride. As for Nathan, I never spoke to him again. I decided to cut all contact. There was nothing left to say, and our story was in the past. But every now and then, I hear news about him. I learned that he lost everything. Homeless, without an income, he's living off the charity of others. The irony is not lost on me. The man who once told me I wouldn't survive without him is now the one living on the edge. Meanwhile, I've built an empire with my own hands. I hold no bitterness. Life has taken its course, and each of us has reaped what we sowed. Today, my focus is on my family, on Carter, who has grown into an honest and hardworking young man, and on my husband, who gives me the support and respect I've always deserved. Above all, I'm at peace, knowing I've walked my own path and triumphed.
After the breakup, I quit my job without hesitation and was about to board a plane to start a new life abroad when my ex-girlfriend, who was also my former boss, unexpectedly showed up at the airport to try to win me back. She claimed she had already fired her assistant and offered me the position of second-in-command at the company. But as soon as I decided to stay and get back with her, she let go of my hand and started chatting cheerfully on the phone with her assistant, Raphael. "You won the bet. That fool actually thought I wanted him back," she said with a mocking smile. "It was just a joke, and you took it seriously. If you want to leave, go ahead. No one's stopping you now." My coworkers laughed, saying I was like a dog, always ready to come back when she called. What they didn't know was that I had only abandoned my plan to move abroad because the new company I was joining had just completed an acquisition, and I was going to be their new CEO. When my ex-girlfriend Anna revealed, with an air of superiority, that her attempt to keep me was just a joke, I didn't get angry. I simply took out my phone to book a flight back home. The co-workers around me looked at me with scorn. Daniel, the CEO, said you don't plan to stay with her. Why are you still standing here? Go ahead and book that flight. Weren't you bragging about getting an offer abroad? What happened? Did they change their mind? Anna watched as they mocked me, not lifting a finger to stop them. For years, this oppressive and humiliating work environment surrounded me. In the past, I would have felt the need to defend myself, outraged that my girlfriend wouldn't stand up for me. But now I felt nothing, as if I were watching a clown show. My business isn't your concern, is it? I said calmly. Anna scoffed, looking me up and down with disdain. You're still so stubborn with your so-called skills. If I hadn't supported you all these years, maybe you wouldn't even have food to eat. Moving abroad? What a joke. Yes, I'm a graduate of a prestigious university. I left behind a well-paid job that others could only dream of to help her build everything from scratch. Yet, in Anna's eyes, I was useless. I was only where I was because of her, or so she thought. I almost laughed. I loved her deeply. Even after years of damage, I remained stuck in a manager position and never complained. But when she started handing my projects over to the new assistant, Raphael, and blaming me for his mistakes, making me face the consequences, she demoted me and cut my salary while promoting and giving raises to Raphael. That's when I finally woke up. That one-sided love I had been holding on to had to end. So, I quit and broke up with her, deciding to pursue my own career. As soon as I resigned and broke up with her, I decided to pursue my career. When I left that office for the last time, a mix of relief and anger washed over me. Relief for finally freeing myself from the toxic environment that was slowly draining me, and anger for having allowed Anna and her whims to dictate my life for so long. I didn't look back. Every step I took was a silent statement that I would never return to that place. In the beginning, things were uncertain. Although I knew I had the skills, the job market could be ruthless. But I had an ace up my sleeve that no one there knew about. An offer to become the CEO of an international tech company that had just completed the acquisition of a competitor. I accepted without hesitation. At my new job, I dedicated myself like never before. I spent countless nights planning strategies, reorganizing teams, and exploring untapped markets. Within a few months, the company's profits skyrocketed, and my reputation grew rapidly. I went from being an undervalued manager to a prominent figure in the industry. Everyone recognized my efforts, and for the first time, I truly felt I was reaping the rewards of my hard work. While I thrived, Anna and everything that had happened remained an open wound. It wasn't just about her treatment or the humiliations. It was about how she and my colleagues thought they could play with my life. I promised myself I would move on, but deep down, the idea of justice still burned within me. Over time, my new company began expanding its operations into Anna's home country. We became one of the largest investors in the sector, and I knew it was only a matter of time before our paths crossed again. When that happened, I wanted to be ready. It wouldn't just be a reunion, it would be my victory. Through contacts, I discovered that Anna was still working at the same company. Now as CEO, she apparently believed she was at the top. That only fueled my determination. I began researching the market and analyzing companies that could be strategic partners. It didn't take long to identify Anna's company as the ideal candidate. I personally reached out to the company's owner, presenting a significant investment proposal. My plan was simple: ensure that our partnership would only proceed under one condition: the replacement of the CEO. The owner was surprised but intrigued. I explained that for such a substantial investment, I needed someone I could fully trust to lead operations. He hesitated, but the amount was too tempting to ignore. Meanwhile, I ensured Anna had no idea of my involvement. All communications were handled through representatives or my vice president. She was eager about the potential partnership, believing it would solidify her position. Little did she know, her arrogance would be her downfall. On the day of the final meeting, where the contract would be signed, I made sure to attend in person. When I walked into the room, the shock on Anna's face was priceless. She tried to hide it, but I could see the tension in her eyes. I remained composed and got straight to the point. Anna, it's been a while, hasn't it? I said with a slight smile as I shook her hand. I'm glad to see you managed to keep the company afloat after everything." She mumbled a few words, trying to stay composed, but the confidence she once flaunted was gone. I continued the meeting professionally, never revealing my true intentions. When it came time to discuss the final terms, I spoke directly to the owner. "The proposal is excellent, but there's one important detail. For us to proceed with the investment, we need new leadership in charge. It's not about discrediting anyone, just about strategic alignment." The silence in the room was palpable. Anna tried to argue, but the owner seemed inclined to accept my offer. He knew that the investment would be a game changer for the company, and in the end, that's what mattered to him. "I'm sure you understand that decisions like this are necessary for growth," I added, looking directly at Anna, who now seemed more lost than ever. A few weeks later, I received confirmation that Anna had been replaced. She tried to appeal, but her years of arrogance and the toxic environment she helped create ended up working against her. For me, this was more than revenge. It was a lesson that no one can walk over others without consequences. Today, I continue advancing in my career while Anna struggles to find her place in the market. She learned the hard way that the power someone thinks they have can vanish in the blink of an eye. And me? I simply move forward, knowing I achieved justice, but never letting it define me. After all, my greatest victory was choosing to value myself from the very beginning. Months after Anna was removed from her position as CEO, my life had reached a level I never imagined. My company was constantly expanding, and my name had become synonymous with success in the industry. However, it seemed that Anna and Raphael couldn't accept what had happened. Through contacts, I discovered they were spreading rumors, trying to undermine my work and my rise, claiming my success was pure luck and that I lacked the real ability to lead a company of that scale. At first, I ignored it. I knew my work spoke for itself, and I didn't need to prove anything to anyone. But when they tried to publicly humiliate me at a gala event, I decided it was time to put them in their place. The event was a gathering of business leaders, and I had been invited as the keynote speaker. When I arrived, I noticed Anna and Raphael sitting at the back, whispering to each other and glancing in my direction. It was clear they were plotting something. I paid no attention and continued engaging with other executives, focused on the purpose of the evening. After my speech, while mingling with other guests, Anna approached me, wearing a cynical smile. "So, you really believe you're all that, don't you?" She began, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "It's funny to see how people buy into this facade of yours as some great businessman." Raphael quickly joined her, like an obedient shadow. "Yeah, it's true. The fact is, he just got lucky. He only achieved what he did because he was in the right place at the right time," he added, trying to sound confident. The executives around us started paying attention, curious about the confrontation. I took a deep breath, staying calm, and decided it was the perfect moment to end their little show. "Anna, Raphael," I started, my tone firm yet composed. "It's truly fascinating how you both insist on underestimating me, even after everything. But since you want attention, let's give everyone here a moment to clear a few things up." The room fell silent. All eyes were on us. I continued, "Anna, you've always enjoyed manipulating the people around you. For years, you made it your mission to belittle me, even while I worked hard to build something that, in the end, only served for you to reap the rewards. When I finally decided to walk away, you tried to humiliate me, thinking I would always be the same fool accepting your scraps. But look where we are today. You were removed because your toxic leadership destroyed your own reputation." She tried to interrupt, but I raised my hand, signaling her to stay quiet. "And you, Raphael, you've always been an opportunist. I gave you chances to grow, but all you did was create problems and shift the blame onto others. The only reason you got anywhere was because Anna chose to protect you while sacrificing those who truly made a difference." I looked around, addressing the other executives present. These are the people clinging to the past, trying to diminish others' work to cover up their own failures. People like this have no place in a market that values integrity and results. I turned back to Anna and Raphael, who were visibly uncomfortable, their masks of arrogance finally cracking. "Now it's time for you to leave. This event is for professionals who have something to offer. You've made it clear you're only here to stir up trouble." I gave a discreet signal to the security guards, who quickly approached. "Please escort these two out. I'm sure they have other places they need to be." Anna began to protest, but the security guards were firm. Raphael simply lowered his head, unable to look anyone in the eye. As they were let out, the silence was replaced by whispers and approving glances from the other executives. Once everything returned to normal, I felt satisfied. Not just because I exposed them, but because I showed I was no longer the man they tried to crush. Anna and Raphael had tried to play dirty, but they learned, in the hardest way possible, that true power comes from respect, hard work, and integrity. I carried on that night, stronger and more confident than ever, while they became nothing more than a bitter memory of a past I had overcome. After everything that happened with Anna and Raphael, my life took a completely unexpected turn. Not only did I grow professionally, but I also experienced a personal transformation that made me rediscover who I truly am and how much I deserve. The path wasn't easy, but looking back now, I realized that every obstacle, every humiliation, and every disappointment was necessary for me to get to where I am today. Anna, after being removed from her position as CEO, tried to rebuild her career at other companies. However, the shadow of her toxic and manipulative behavior followed her wherever she went. In the corporate world, news travels fast, and no one wanted to associate with someone who ruined a company because of their ego. At first, she tried to rely on her old connections, people who were once under her influence. But even those allies distanced themselves when they realized their own reputations could be damaged by supporting her. Anna ended up accepting positions far below what she once had, desperately trying to rebuild her image, but it was clear her time had passed. The woman who once believed she was on top of the world was now stuck in an irrelevant position, struggling to be taken seriously. For me, this wasn't revenge. It was simply the natural consequence of her choices. Raphael fell even faster. Always hiding behind Anna's protection, his credibility crumbled as soon as his workplace misconduct came to light. With no one to cover up his mistakes, he was fired from several positions in a short period. He tried to switch industries, but his reputation followed him. Eventually, I heard he opened a small business in a desperate attempt to stay afloat, but lacking the necessary skills and discipline. Even that failed. In the end, Raphael was reduced to taking mediocre jobs where no one knew about his past or his failures. While they struggled to pick up the pieces of their lives, I moved forward in leaps and bounds. My company grew exponentially, expanding into new markets and solidifying itself as a leader in innovation and development. I became a prominent name in the industry, with constant invitations to events, speaking engagements, and partnerships. But beyond professional success, I realized there was something even more important: building a genuine personal life, something I never had with Anna. That's when I met Isabella. It wasn't something planned or grand. It happened during a casual gathering, introduced by mutual friends. I was there without many expectations, and I remember noticing her immediately. There was something about her energy, her genuine smile, and the way she spoke that caught my attention. We started talking, and to my surprise, there were no games, no manipulation, no masks. Isabella was authentic, straightforward, and carried a lightness that felt almost unreal after everything I had been through. Over time, our conversations became more frequent, and what began as a friendship grew into something much deeper. Isabella not only understood my ambitions, but also encouraged me to be better. Unlike Anna, who constantly tried to diminish my achievements or make me feel inadequate, Isabella celebrated every victory as if it were her own. She stood by me during difficult times and reminded me, in moments of doubt, that I didn't have to face everything alone. Everything I once imagined I would have with Anna, companionship, mutual respect, and a genuine connection, I found with Isabella, but on a much greater level. She wasn't just my partner. She was my friend, confidant, and greatest supporter. When I came home after a hard day, I knew she would be there, not to judge me, but to share in both the victories and the defeats. With her, I learned what true love really means: balance, mutual support, and a partnership that lifts you up instead of dragging you down. Today, after more than 2 years together, I can confidently say I've never been happier. Isabella not only surpassed all my expectations of love, but also helped me realize that I deserved far more than what I once settled for. When I think of Anna now, I feel nothing but indifference. She's worth no more than the shoes on my feet. And I say that without resentment, but with the certainty that she no longer holds any power over me. Everything I once desired and idealized with Anna, I now have with Isabella. And it's so much better than anything I could have imagined. The life I dreamed of in moments of frustration doesn't even come close to the incredible reality I live now. Isabella showed me that love isn't a constant battle, but a space for mutual support, growth, and joy. Looking back, I realized that every hardship was necessary. If I hadn't faced Anna's humiliations, betrayals, and disdain, I might never have had the courage to walk away and seek something better. I might never have met Isabella or learned to value myself the way I truly deserve. Now my life feels complete. I have an amazing woman by my side, a solid career, and above all, the peace of knowing I've left the past where it belongs. Anna and Raphael are nothing more than distant memories of a closed chapter. I moved on, and I did so in the best way possible. Happy, fulfilled, and finally free.